Welcome back to the Cricket Today show, brought to you by TABTouch, who bring you daily sports markets covering every BBL match, so you never miss a beat. I'm your host, Leo Mullaly. I'm not known as the stats guy. I'm joined by Marcus Bazzano. He's the only one with me today. We're up and about. Let's go.
Very up and about. Probably 20 minutes since Australia won that famous Test match, but unfortunately, no stats guy to be here to talk us through it as well.
Yeah, I know he's spewing. He sent us a few messages, but look, we're giving you the fresh emotions here from the Test match.
Yeah,
just absolute chaos game. We'll get into that. But before we do, feel every play and be right in the action throughout a massive Aussie summer of cricket with TABTouch. So as I mentioned, massive show as we wrap up. The best Boxing Day test ever, the best test ever. That's what people are saying. It was like a movie. So much happened.
It was unreal.
Unreal. Yeah, we will cover a huge review of the test as the Aussies go 2-1 up in the series, as well as all the crucial matchups and performances throughout. We'll also cover off the major BBL talking points, including all things SuperCoach. But let's be real, this is going to be predominantly about the test today.
Oh, deserves to be as well.
Deserves to be. Before we start, be sure to get around this show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Marcus, sorry to put you under the bus. What are we at?
Oh, 2.61. That's the best I can give you.
2.61.
2.61. Making some moves lately.
Yeah, we want to get up to 3K by the end of the Aussie summer, so that's coming up shortly. So hopefully we can get there. And also get around this show on the socials at Cricket Today AU and download TABTouch today. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Let's get into the quick single. I'm going to keep it quick. With Stats Guy's host, it just runs a little bit too long.
It's never really quick, is it? He likes to think that it's quick, but
to be fair, though, if it is going to go longer, I think it's after that result in the test match. So Australia beat India by 184 runs in a famous Boxing Day test. What are your emotions, Marcus? Tell me what you're feeling right now as a fan.
Relief. Just honestly, pure relief, because the sways in that test match at tea break when we need 7 wickets, I thought we were done.
Yeah, I thought
it was like draw. I was like, let's do the show. Pencil it in. It's going to be a draw. But somehow the Aussies pulled it out of their behinds. 7 wickets in that final session. Wow.
It was genuinely an extraordinary test. We had everything. Like, we go back to day one. You got Sam Konstas making 60 of 65, which we'll get into. But you almost forget that even happened. That was nearly a week ago.
I know. That was
insane.
Yeah, honestly, he was 10 years old the last time that happened. That's what it felt like. But so many great things happened, and just thank God they got the W ahead of the Sydney test, which almost always get rained out. I don't know what the weather's like for the 5th test, but short turnaround. Hopefully the weather rains in our case.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I think momentum has definitely shifted, though. Like, even in the Brisbane test, like, Australia most likely win that without any rain. So it's good to see the bounce back from the Aussies since that Perth test. So you'd think going into that last Sydney test, if there wasn't any rain, that the Aussies can back it up. But Pat Cummins, he led the way, didn't he? Gets man of the match, 6 wickets and 90 runs. What are your thoughts on that, Marcus? Do you reckon he was the right man to get man of the match?
There's so many players that could have got man of the match. Like, even from Jasprit Bumrah could have got man of the match.
Yeah, definitely.
Honestly, 100%. So he could probably find himself a bit stiff, but when we needed wickets most and when we needed runs most, it was Pat Cummins. It was Pat, and he's always done it. He did it in the Ashes. He's just pulling up when you need him most. And myself and Stats Guy sort of questioned his bowling so far this summer against India. We were like, it hasn't been up to the Pat Cummins that we know and love, but he delivered here right when we need it. 2 early wickets and a crucial partnership with Marnus.
Yeah, we're obviously going to get into it, but I think that first spell he bowled today was the best spell he bowled all series. He just did not give India an inch, and yeah, Sharma found out, Rahul found out early, so he was exceptional. But just the last point on quick single, we got Test cricket, 5 days down to the last session, and I kind of feel in recent times when the Aussies have done that, it's either been a draw or they've lost. It's just great to be on the winning side from an Aussie fan perspective.
Eat your heart out, Michael Vaughan. Eat your heart out. Sorry, headphone.
Sorry, headphone users. Yeah, he got a few comments about that from I think it was Nathan Lyon and Mitch Stark at different interviews today. So it's
100%.
definitely gotten under the skin of a few Aussie players.
This is what Test cricket's all about. Like, imagine if there was 4 days. Like, honestly,
Yeah,
when you get like two big scores, this is classic Test cricket. I know it's changed and they aren't played like that nowadays. Like, you see the aggressive nature of Konstas in the first innings, Rishabh Pant, even Kumar Reddy to an extent, he's pretty aggressive.
yep.
Um, this is what we love to see. It's still going down to 5 days. Jeez, what a game cricket is,
What a
honestly.
game. All right, well, let's get into it. The in-depth test wrap. We're going to cover off every innings, every important piece
Woo!
of bowling, batting, fielding, whatever you like.
Let's do it.
We were all kids when this started. Boxing Day, Australia win the toss and bat and make 474. Where did it start, Marcus? Where did it start?
It started off with the best thing since Don Bradman, Sam Konstas.
The Wonder Kid, how good?
No, I kid, of course. But how good? Like, just taking it to Bumrah, it just set the tone for the match, didn't it? Really, on Boxing Day, in front of a huge crowd. I was lucky enough to be there. So shout out to Tom from work, who's featured on the show before. Sort of set myself some tickets. And it was unreal. There's only two players that have hit Jasprit Bumrah for 2 or more sixes. That's Josh Butler and Sam Konstas.
There you go.
In Test cricket, might add. So it's just unreal. And I'm sure you guys covered it in the last show, the records he was breaking when facing Jasprit Bumrah. But wow, he's just a bunch of energy. Like, we honestly, we didn't really rate the change, did we?
No, we didn't. We were very skeptical.
Very skeptical. We were like, if you bring in McSweeney, give him the go for the whole series. They didn't. Brought in Konstas, and the young kid, he certainly knows how to rev up a crowd, doesn't he?
Yeah, a bit of Jack Ginnivan about him for those who follow the AFL.
There is, isn't there?
But what did you think when he first ramped Bumrah, or even the first two times that he missed? I was thinking he's Jake Fraser McGurk in white coloured clothing here. What's going on?
Oh, jeez. I was like, not like this, because if he gets out, think of it, if he gets out in that first ramp shot, everyone's looking at him and being like, what a flog.
Yeah.
What did we do? Why did we drop McSweeney for this kid who's pulling up ramps and getting bowled 3 overs into a Boxing Day test match in front of 90,000? Yeah. Luckily, it paid off in the end. And what did he hit Jasprit Bumrah for? 18 off and over, I think?
I think so, yeah. I think it might have been 2 4s and a 6. Yeah, just from ramps.
And it was just his aggressive nature. But it was also Khawaja up the other end, and also Marnus in at 3, and
it
Smith
helped
in
Khawaja,
at 4.
Definitely. Like Khawaja it took the pressure off him 100%.
100%. You could tell as well. Like, if Masweeney's still in, he'd probably on the same strike rate, if not maybe a little bit higher than Uzi.
Yep.
But he sort of he was laughing at the other end, Uzi, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But he was loving it. We were loving it. Australia loves it. Sam Konstas will hopefully, imagine him against Bazball in the Ashes. Oh my god,
it's going to be good. It's going to be good. The last thing we need to touch on with Konstas though was the bump with Kohli. Now Kohli, what do we think? I think Kohli has made a little bit of a line towards Konstas there, and
he's definitely gone out of his way to bump him. I don't know. I feel like the 19-year-old, just for those 15 overs that he was in for, definitely got under the skin of the Indian bowlers, and I think upper order. I thought there were a lot of question marks around Rohit Sharma's captaincy, and Bumrah he wasn't used to it, was he? Because he's been averaging barely over 10 this series against every other Australian top order batsman, and rightly so. We'll get to Bumrah eventually, but geez, my God, is he a player? But yeah, it's just something different. It was something different, a bit aggressive. It sort of brought back the David Warner start of his Test career sort of vibes, and aggressive nature versus Uzi, the yin and yang of defensive aggressive. It just worked perfectly on that day one.
It did. It definitely got under the skin of Kohli, I think. And I think Kohli's intention probably wasn't to hit him that hard. I think he wanted to sort of get in his face a little bit.
Get in his head, I think.
But I think he sort of went over the line a little bit. But when it had me glued to my screen, I must admit. Like, seeing that, I love that. Yep. I think Kohli, you can think what you want of him, but I thought that just brings so
Bit
many
of
more
fire.
eyeballs on Test cricket. Yeah, it was awesome.
100%. And like we said, like he was just trying to get in his head at the end of the day. Like we spoke to Fergus O'Neill off air. Check
Yeah,
out that episode only a couple episodes ago where we had an interview with Renegade star Fergus O'Neill, who actually played with Sam Konstas in Australia A. And he said nothing gets to him. If he gets out for 100, if he gets out for 0, he doesn't care.
yeah.
And I think Indian players sort of picked up on that and were just trying to get into his head as a young 19-year-old player. But it didn't seem like anything fazed him.
Yeah, literally. And then from there, it was Khawaja, nicely made 57. I think the slower wicket helped him.
Yep.
Marnus was good with 72 as well. But Smith was the main story for the batting. 140. I think it was 68 not out at the end of day one. So to bat, he batted with Carey late day one, who made 31. And then Cummins, who probably deserved a 50. And then to bat with the tail to get Australia to 474. He was awesome. Because going to day two, I was like, we'll be lucky to get 350 here. And Smith and Cummins were superb to get us, over 450.
Yeah, 100%. And we're talking about who should have got me in the match. Bumrah, I think he ended up with 9 wickets for the match, Bumrah.
Yeah.
But those runs that Pat Cummins made, particularly in the first innings and also the second, it's like a wicket in itself, isn't
literally.
it? And I think he ended up with 6 wickets for the match, I think, Pat Cummins, and around 90 runs. But George, he was good. Everyone sort of chipped in, which was nice to reach that 474, which, looking back on it now, was a much needed target.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone chipped in, but Mitch Marsh, which we'll get to, but also Travis Head, who I reckon Head, he bats his best when Australia need him to, and when Australia don't need him to, he goes missing. But you can't argue with that.
As long as there's someone there to pick up the slack when Head's not making runs, and they sort of proved to the wider cricketing world, sort of Smith and Marnus, haven't they? In this Test match and arguably the last one as well, that they deserve to hold their spot. And Siraj chipped in for the total as well, which was nice to see.
Yeah, well, I was just about to touch on that. So Bumrah 4 for 99 was superb. I didn't think Akashdeep bowled too badly. If anything, a little bit short maybe to not get the edge often enough.
I thought he was unlucky, but Bumrah, like I was in that crowd for that ball to Travis Head, and the Indians were going off, and rightly so. That guy is an absolute freak.
He's so difficult to face, but someone who is a little bit easier to face is Mohammad Siraj. None for 122.
Oh, does he play in Sydney?
He can't play. I know he sort of came back a bit in the second innings, but he can't play. Like, I thought he was their weakest link.
I figured out what his nicknames means. Like the chant, sorry. DSP.
DSP?
Yep.
Oh, no. Have I got a sense of this?
No. He's the Deputy Superintendent of Police, or whatever that title is, in a city in India. They awarded him that after winning the 2020 World Cup, where he didn't finish with barely any wickets, and he got given the Deputy Superintendent of Police.
This is really strange. Actually, is that
yeah?
true?
I'm not even joking. I was at the cricket. They were chanting DSP, and I was like, I still don't know what this means. So I googled it, and Deputy Superintendent of Police. That's what DSP means.
Jeez,
I don't know who let him be in charge there, but because he robbed India. And yet he's the Superintendent of Police. None for 122. Serves him right.
Yeah. And then, so India, they came out to bat.
Yep.
369. I think they were about 2 for 150 at one stage. Jasprit 82. He was looking really good at the crease. And then he got run out. He called yes. It was his call. Personally, I don't think there's a run there. But
Who's that fault?
Kohli was just like, I'm not moving here. I'm the senior player. You're going back to the shed, mate. Yeah. I think Jasprit's at fault, though. There's no run there. There's no run
I think Kohli's at fault. I know there's not a run there, but it's not Kohli's call to say no. It's at Jasprit's danger end. So Jasprit, he called yes very early.
Yeah, he did.
And I feel like I agree there probably wasn't a run there. There's no worth risking it in Test cricket just to get a single like that. But I think there was a bit of Virat Kohli ball watching, which was a shame because Jasprit, who I'm going to point out, this is not going to be long until this kid's going to be the number 1 Test batsman in the world.
Him and Harry Brook, I reckon, are going to be fighting for it 100%.
Yeah, 100%. This guy's unreal. And as an opening batsman, when arguably it's the hardest to face when the ball's moving around, Um, he just looks like he has so much time, and although he
Mm.
only made the 82, he can count himself very unlucky not to make a century in both innings.
Yep, 100% agree. And then for the Aussies, Boland, Cummins, and Lyon all picked up 3 wickets. It was a really good shared performance from those guys. But Nitish Kumar Reddy, I think, was the main story for this India innings. So I think we had India around 6 for 220 ish.
I can have a look now. They were 6 for 190, so 221 for 7 when Kumar Reddy came in to bat.
And so he put on 127 with Washington Sundar,
Yeah,
who also made a 50. But Reddy he was superb, 114. I think he needs to move up the order personally. I think he
yeah.
will. He's still very young, but I think he definitely needs to be batting at least 6. Like
He's
I think in
he's
time he could be 5. Like
he's
he
really
looks
threatening, isn't he?
so composed with the bat. He didn't look like going out at all,
He
and
was
we just
yeah.
didn't have an answer, did we? Like
He was threatening for the whole series.
yeah,
40, 40, like 16 odd, and then 40, and then he's just threatening to explode. And he did
yeah.
it on the biggest occasion. I think it speaks to the man, and it was his old man crying as well in the
Yeah,
stands.
that was good. That was good scenes.
That's just a good cricket moment, no matter who you support. It was
Yeah.
just great to see, and that was a massive partnership which brought India back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought when those two were in, I was just like, one more wicket here, even if they get a 50-run partnership, and the Aussies will wrap this up quick.
Yeah,
And yeah, they were really defiant. And also just the end on the India first innings, Rishabh Pant's shot. I can't get over
oh,
Sunil Gavaskar's commentary of it. He's
was it
sitting
like?
next to, I think, Harsha Bogle, and
Yeah, I
Harsha's
think
trying to
yeah.
say something, and he's like, stupid shot.
He's like stupid, stupid, stupid.
That was great. I think that's one of those ones where no matter who you support again, you could just always appreciate the reaction. That was awesome.
100%. And but that's what you're gonna get with Rishabh Pant.
Yeah,
And again, it was his wicket. We'll get to it later on, but his
yeah,
wicket in the second innings as well. What are you doing?
yeah,
What are you doing?
literally. So then the Aussies, they came back out 234. They made. It didn't look like they were going to make that though. So Marnus was really good with his 70. Played and missed a lot. He struggled a bit, but he was really, really defiant in his knock. Him and Cummins were huge because Bumrah, another fifer, ripping through Head, ripping through Marsh, ripping through Carey. Another fifer. Again, it's a bit boring now. Like, come on,
He's
man.
unreal.
Like,
It's the best test average to reach 200 wickets. The best test average of a pace bowler, and I'm going to put this out there. This is the best fast bowler of all time.
if he keeps this up for another year, I think so, 100%.
He's so good.
These numbers he has produced this series with a test to go is uncharted territory. No bowler will ever do this again, I don't think. Not even an Australian bowler can do this in Australia. It's extraordinary.
He's got the best test average as well in Australia from any nation, including Australia.
Yeah,
so
that's insane.
Obviously, Australia would have played more games in Australia to screw that average, but still, that stat is incredible. Under 20, I think. I think it's around 19.
I think he's like a couple of wickets away from being the first Indian with the most wickets in a series in Australia. I think the most is 31. I have a feeling he's on 30 at the moment in a series. So
imagine if India didn't have Jasprit Bumrah throughout the series.
Yeah, if he was injured or something, we saw him have a little groin niggle in Adelaide. We were thinking, if he misses, then the Aussies are right in the game. He was awesome, and
you mentioned we were 6 for 91, and we wouldn't have been leading by much at that stage, probably 150 odd, 180 odd. But then, Marnus and Cummins was so crucial. But it was the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Boland.
What about Nathan Lyon?
And the goat, Nathan Lyon.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That last wicket partnership, which arguably put us in this position on day 5 to go for the win and sort of made India a little bit passive.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you think about it. So they put on 61 runs together as the last wicket. Lyon makes 41 of those. I think Cummins also made 41 with Marnus. And then Boland makes 15 off about 75 balls. So if they don't make those 61 runs, you take 60 off needing 340. That's Wait, I can't do maths. That's 280. 280, and India probably thinking, okay, we can honestly get 280 here.
And not only that, it's the balls they managed to choke up as well. If Scott Boland made 15 or 74, if he only faced 15 balls, that's an extra 10 overs for India to bat to try and chase this total, and they would have batted on the end of day 4.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I don't think how I don't people understand, like people who don't watch cricket or casual watchers don't understand how important that partnership is. There were little moments here and there that we've gone through already, which are like, that's why we won the game.
Yep.
That's why India lost the game. And that's just another one of those.
Yep, 100%. And then the last point I want to make, Siraj, he came back. He took 3 for Marcus. 3 for. He's shushing the crowd. Says, this is my venue. This is my venue, my house.
When he shushed the crowd with figures of 1 for 130 odd.
So he ends the test
honestly
with 3 for. How many did he go for in the second innings?
70.
70. So he ends the test with 3 for 192 runs.
What's that average out at? What does that average out at?
That's not great, is it? I'm not great at maths, as I just proved about 30 seconds ago.
It was about 63 odd.
There you
63
go.
average this test match.
Yeah, so, I think he has to
does he? And we'll put this out to the fans in the comment section as well. Does Mohammad Siraj keep his spot for Sydney?
I don't think
keeping him on. It will be a turning pitch.
Yep.
So they're preparing like a ranked turner, which suits India as well. Do we see Washington Sundar, Jadeja? Ashwin's not playing, is he? Was that an immediate retirement?
Yeah, he's not.
So they might have missed a trick there because 3 spinners, all handy in the bat as well.
I would actually consider, now this could go into before our next show, but India taking out Siraj and bringing in just a pure batsman like Shubman Gill, because you still have Bumrah, you still have Deep, you can rely on spin to bowl bulk overs, especially in Sydney, and Reddy can also chip in with the ball. So they've got options there. I actually think they can strengthen their batting and bring in Gill for Siraj.
Yeah, we'll get into this after the day-by-day wrap-up, but for both sides, there are big team selection issues up for grabs.
100%. And then today it all unfolded. India all out for 155. Cummins and Stark, I thought, were brutal early. Stark to Jaiswal has been such an awesome battle throughout this whole test series. Just another mini battle within another mini battle within another mini moment of an awesome test.
Yep.
Cummins too early. Stark 1 early. Jaiswal and Pant then got going. So they went wicketless, the Aussies, in the second session.
Again, Jaiswal, unreal.
Yeah, he was awesome. So he made 84. I just reckon they needed about 20 more minutes, and then the Aussies would have probably gone a bit more like
let's chuck on Marnus. Chuck on Marnus. Head. Give everyone a bowl, but Stark was good. Yeah, you mentioned how good Stark was, especially carrying that back injury as well.
Definitely.
That back
he might be one to watch for Sydney.
For Sydney.
As well.
Yeah, he could be one for watch to Sydney. No, for Sydney, sorry. But, well, I can't wrap my head around, like, just when everyone needed to chip in, they chipped in the most.
Yep. It was a team performance with the ball, 100%.
It truly was. We had in at T, was it 3 for God knows how many? And it was, well, that's the wrong innings. My bad, but
they were 3 down at T.
They were 3 down at T, and we needed 7 wickets, and we took 7 for 41 in the final session. Unreal.
Yeah, and it all started with Travis Head, though. So he sparks something. He's got a bit of a golden arm. He gets Rishabh Pant pulling, hooking a ball. Marsh takes.
What was he doing?
What was he doing? That's what I want to ask.
What was he doing, Leo?
Because now you look back and India have lost, and it's just one of those ones where you're like, why did you do that?
Why?
Just hit it along the ground, Rishabh. Just hit it along the ground.
Look, I know it's Travis Head bowling, and I know he's not bowling the greatest balls.
It was
a poor ball. But then again, hitting it to deep cow on the MCG, which is huge. The boundaries are bigger. What are you doing? Why are you hitting it there? And Mitch Marsh, that wasn't the first he juggled as well, was it? He took 2 or 3 on the second bite of the cherry. Yeah. But Australia in the field were just so good. They were so good. That's probably arguably the difference as well. India dropped catches
that was
in
the
day
other
4.
Thing. So Jaiswal dropped 3 catches in Australia's second innings, and some of the reactions from Sharma and Kohli and
Kohli
Bumrah
was
and
happy, was he?
well, Sharma wasn't happy. I reckon Sharma was about to take him out the back and kill him
Yeah,
or
well,
something.
put your best fielders in gully. The ball just seemed to find him, didn't it?
Yeah,
After
it
he dropped
did.
those catches.
Yeah, that was some of them were really simple too, and that could have honestly been the difference because one of them was Marnus early. I think one of them was
Yep.
Khawaja, and Khawaja went on to make it 15 more. I want to say, so all those runs just added up,
I
and
just,
yeah,
I
it was a
just,
difference.
I just think they missed a trick there. I think they were too focused on going for the draw India because they were uncharacteristically defensive,
Mm,
particularly early on. Like before Rishabh Pant came in, the economy was below 2.
yeah, I think
When
at one
Rishabh
stage it was
Pant
like
came in,
1.5. Yeah,
it reached 4, and that was probably when India looked at their most stable.
yeah,
And it was Rishabh Pant and Jaiswal. Not They weren't being overly aggressive either. That was a good thing. They were just putting the bad balls away, playing good
yeah,
cricket shots. But I think that's why the likes of Kohli again. What is he doing? He's got more
yeah.
nicks than Ashira at the moment.
Yeah,
Because
well, I think we've worked him out. Like we know what to do to get him out, and
I
he
saw
eventually just gets out.
I saw a photo, and the ball that he played would have been hitting the fourth set of stumps, not
Yeah,
even like individual
really?
stumps. Yeah, four
Well, I
set of
didn't think it was
stumps.
that wide, but that there you go.
Unreal. But he's been doing that the whole series though,
Yeah,
where he's just been searching and searching, and when you're playing for a draw, you don't need to play at a shot like that.
yeah,
He goes out for 5. KL Rahul, even Robert Sharma 9 of 40, uncharacteristically defensive, strike rate of 22.
yeah.
I
I
reckon
think
they just
that's another one that I reckon the Indian fans will be interested to know our thoughts on in terms of whether he plays as skipper for the next test. Like, would you be keeping him in, Marcus?
in the
Or
team. Yeah, well, there's so many players. Robert Sharma, I think he has to get dropped.
yeah,
Honestly, I don't think moving him up and down the order has helped at all either.
yep,
That's probably a lifeline for him. They
yep,
have moved him around, so he hasn't had that stability. I think he should get dropped, though,
yeah.
in my opinion.
I think I'm leaning that way as well. We'll be doing a preview show, I believe, on Thursday where we'll cover all of
Mm.
this. And yeah, I think that's an interesting thing to watch from an Indian perspective.
Yep.
And then sort of yeah, as you mentioned, everyone chipped in with the ball. Jaiswal made 84. Now he was out. I don't know what's he complaining about. It was a
He,
clear deviation. Nothing on Snicko, but
but
Stevie
mate,
Wonder could see that deviated.
the
Like that
ball
was out.
moved in right angles.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
100% out. He had to go. Akash Deep complained as well.
That's stats guy walking to come onto this pod and doing a quick 180 to veer away. That's how big that deviation was.
Yep. Yeah, well, you could say the same about Akash Deep as well. You could see
Yeah.
the red ball mark on the edge of his bat on the replay. Snicko said he hit it. You could see it deviate, and he's having a word with the umpire. Just get off the ground.
I think that's more time wasting, in my opinion. I think he
Oh,
knew he was out.
They were going to get through 15 overs
But
anyway.
yeah, like if you can stay out there for an extra 30 to a minute, I don't know. Didn't really feel like it was doing much, but
Yeah.
look, when they said Jaiswal, I don't know if I hit it. I don't know if I hit it.
Oh, yep.
Which is fair enough. Like as a batsman, of course, you're going to say that. But when they're saying that, more often than not, they've hit the ball.
Yep.
So yeah, look, the tail was a bit long, isn't it? Like I mean, Akash Deep coming in at 9 when you compare that to Australia's tail.
Yeah, I just reckon that's why I'm leaning towards bringing in a pure batsman for Siraj next test.
Yeah,
especially if it is a spinning wicket.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. I agree 100%.
And just the last thing to touch on as we wrap up this test, just like they did with the bat, Boland and Lyon finish it off for the Aussies.
How poetic.
I think they said something on the Fox Cricket commentary. I might get this wrong, but Boland takes a quarter of his wickets in the first over of new spells. And then I think the idea was raised that he should just bowl 1 over spells, and I have nothing against that.
I don't hate that either. Like and it was first ball as well. Both of his wickets coming back on for his bowling spell. First wickets.
Yeah.
He just always pops up for Australia.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter with the bat in the second innings on day 4, whether it's the ball on day 5 late on. And again, it was Lyon as well, who just hasn't looked great throughout the series, but he just pops up when we need him most, like the true little goat he is.
I thought this was the best he bowled All series.
All series, yeah, by far.
Considerable.
And I thought, even when he wasn't getting wickets, he was getting close. But I thought Boland was a little bit poor in that second session with the ball.
Yep.
I thought he was
I think he
too
bowled a few
short, too
ones,
wide. But again, he just fixed that lineup, typical Scott Boland style. Bowled a few absolute peaches, and off you trot. There you go, all out 155. Australia win the game.
How good. That's the Aussie Test wrap against India. What an awesome Boxing Day. We got through it 30 minutes.
So
I
much
think
to
we
get
could talk.
through.
We may have even missed something. It was just so much to talk about.
We probably missed a whole bunch of that. Let us know in the comments what you want us to talk about in the next episode. We'll get onto it. Don't worry. Stats guy should be back for that one.
And let us know your just thoughts on the test, your emotions, like Australian, Indian fan, like what were you thinking throughout different stages? Were you nervous at day 3?
They're nervous. We're calm.
They're nervous. We're calm. We love that. So just let us know in the comments.
100%.
Before we get into all things BBL and SuperCoach BBL, make sure to check out TABTouch for their sports markets, which cover every BBL match this season. Got the touch? Download TABTouch today. Think, is this a bet you really want to place? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Let's get into the Big Bash, Marcus. We just got...
Do we have to? We have to? Test cricket.
It's cricket, though. It's cricket. We have to.
It is cricket. We love all cricket. And we did mention, leaving comments in the comment section before, we have a special section every week. We read out fan comments at the end of every show.
Yes, we do. I forgot to
mention
that.
We'll be reading out a bunch of comments, whether it's on the socials, YouTube videos. Have at it.
Yep, 100%. There's been a selection of Big Bash games that have passed since our last show, so I just wanted to go over some talking points. And I think the main talking point is the Stars are still winless. They are 0-5. They've had another 2 losses.
As a closet Stars fan, this is actually hard to watch. Like I'm just a casual. Like if I don't really care about the Big Bash, but if I had to support a team, it'd be the Stars. So I keep an eye on them here and there, and I'm just looking at them and I'm like,
their batting looks strong.
Their lineup. Ben Duckett's been playing really well. Then you got Maxi, Stoinis, Webster, Cartwright, who can all hold a stick.
Yep.
And I don't know
their
what's
bowling
going on.
is an issue.
And
I think with the bat, they're probably not clicking 100% either.
Yeah, the worst thing is they're screwing up games that they should be winning, and they're putting themselves in positions to win as well. So 0-5. Oscar Piastri is not going to be very happy with the Stars so far this season.
No, he's not. He'll be happy with the Aussies, though. He was there on, I think, day 3 or day 4.
Yeah. Yep.
Another talking point. The Heat don't remain undefeated. I only put this in because Stats Guy on the last show said they would, so sucked in Stats Guy.
Let's have a look at the ladder, actually, because I, to be honest, haven't been paying too much attention to the table.
I think it's pretty even apart from...
Sixers have won every game.
Stars. Yeah,
and I said they missed finals, so there you go. What does Marcus know about cricket? But, the Stars, 0-5. There's about 5-6 teams on 4 points.
Yeah, it is pretty tight. And the other point I want to make, the Hurricanes and Thunder, are they sneakily good? The Hurricanes get belted by the Renegades. They've come back all right. Their run rate still sucks. But I don't know. I feel like there's something developing there with the Stars, with the Hurricanes. They had Mitch Owen make a century a couple games ago. Ben McDermott get in on the runs.
Yeah.
Could be something there. But the Thunder, I reckon, are the ones. They actually, I think, I had them 8th, then I put them 6th. Yeah. I think they could be really in the frame for finals.
2-1 so far.
Yeah.
And
big game against the Renegades as well.
Their only loss was
out already.
Yeah, the only loss was against their crosstown rivals, the Sixers.
Yeah. Was last ball. Dorsch hit a 6 to make it 1-1 and got him home.
Yeah, exactly. So big wins there against the Stars and the Strikers. That's their other 2 wins. And arguably, again, in a position where the Stars looked like they were favourites at one point to win that game.
Yeah, definitely. All right, that's the quick wrap. We'll do a quick preview for the BBL coming up. Now, this podcast, as I said, will be out probably as the Thunder Gades game is happening. I'm tipping the Thunder in this one. I think they're sneakily okay. Ooh. I think the Gades can bounce back in future games because I think they got the Strikers and Stars to come. But I just think the Thunder at home, I think they can do it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. I think the Thunder at home, they're a little bit of a dark horse, and they have been all season. But I'm going to back the Renegades. I'm going to back Fergo Neal and his boys. We love him. He loves the pod. So we'll back the Gades.
How good. And the New Year's Eve game, this should be an absolute scorcher, pun intended.
Mm.
Strikers versus Scorchers. I think Scorchers have to win this one. I think they came back with a good performance against the Heat. I think Nick Hobson hit 47 off 16. Stats guy called him crap. And he said, stuff you, stats guy. I'm making
It's
47
not the
off
first
16.
time he's
Not the
done it
first
either.
time. Yep.
First game against the Stars, he did a similar thing as well. Again, that was against the Stars though. But still, they're great. The Scorchers. This is it's going to be one of the best games of the BBL season, the
You
entire
reckon?
season.
Even though the
Yeah,
Strikers are a little bit out of form.
they are, but they lost to the Hurricanes, but they still scored over 200. Like
Yep.
they're still, they've got the players there. Matt Short, Jamie Overton, those two in particular, we'll get touch on later. This is so hard to predict, and I'm actually going to go the Strikers.
I'm
New
going to
Year's
back
Eve.
Yep. There is something about Strikers playing New Year's Eve, isn't there?
And there's a big crowd. They host that game annually, the New Year's Eve game. And look, they've got match winners. Everyone has match winners, but I think at home at Adelaide Oval might prove the difference.
Yeah, I'm backing in the Scorchers. I just think they got sort of a get right win against the Heat. They were in a bit of trouble going at 6 and over. As I mentioned, Nick Hobson comes in, does well. I think they've got too much talent to let the Strikers in this game. I feel like the Strikers have been playing at like 90% and then the 10% lets them down a little bit in games.
Yep.
And the Scorchers, I think, are a bit more disciplined. They really need Finn Allen to do something, though. It'd be interesting because I think they actually dropped Keaton Jennings. I might be wrong. Will they drop Finn Allen? He's got to step up for him.
Well, first of all, he's got to last more than an over.
Yeah, true.
That's what he needs to do. I don't care if it's nothing or 6. Just see out the over.
Yep. Who cares?
Because we haven't seen that yet, I don't think, from Finn Allen.
No, I don't think he's batted a full over yet. So, yeah, he has to do that.
Yep.
Hurricane Sixers to start the new year. I think it's hard to look past the undefeated Sixers.
I think the Chains, the Hurricanes, they're
reckon?
going to do it. They're going to do it. It's Ben McDermott turns into Hulk past New Year. So I'm going to go with the Hurricanes.
Don't mind that.
Why not?
And Heat versus Stars. I think you've got to go to the Heat. I'm not
Brisbane Heat next.
Until they win a game.
Yeah, like the Stars are hopeless, aren't they? So Brisbane Heat.
And we'll go into our SuperCoach Wash now. I had another terrible round. I got 610 marks.
What's happening, Leo? What is happening?
I'm not hitting like I used to.
Where are you? Where are you in the overall rankings?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Oh God. Seems like Stats Guy had a similar week. He got 697.
I versed him actually in a head-to-head in the league. So got the dub there. I finished with 934. So
nice.
Not terrible.
So going into round 4, we put out a buy, hold, sell this morning. I'm looking to buy Chief Sutherland if you can. Tim Seifert if you can. Matt Short if you can. Jamie Overton if you can. They all have the double. Look to bring in some of those. I'd hold Cooper Connolly and I said sell Berendorf if you have him.
Yep.
Any trade plans for you?
I've already made my trade. So I've just brought him up now. I traded out Tom Curran, who has a calf injury.
I did the same.
Sam Harper from the Stars, Matty Renshaw, and Nathan McSweeney.
Yep.
Fair
trades.
I've brought in Jake Fraser McGurk, who has a double.
Yep.
Tim Seifert, double. Liam Scott, I believe, first name Liam. From the Strikers, do they have a double? I believe
they do have a double.
I believe they do. Yep. And he's only 51,000, so he was more the cheap one there. And then I brought in Sam Billings as well, as an extra trade. Because he was great last week. He did have last round. He did have the double, but I'm keeping in mind. I believe he has the double again next round, and then it's a whole bunch of no doubles really until the end of the season.
Yeah, like that a lot. To finish off the SuperCoach segment, go the Tonk for round 4. Just a player we think is going to go absolutely nanas this round. Marcus, who you got?
I've got Jamie Overton. I've got him in my team already. I've got both. I've actually got both your selection and my selection in the team. And I'll also sneaky shout out to Will Sutherland as well. Yep, he could be 100%. A shout. But I just think Jamie Overton is a bit higher up in the order with the bat. So he'll have more time to bat, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he also bowls he bowls his 4 as well. So he's got an average of 98 so far this season. Scored 131 last round. So he's going to be great. Jamie Overton for me.
Yeah, love it. I'm going Matt Short. Look, he probably hasn't been at his best. He's lost $55,000 this year in SuperCoach. Surely his class is permanent. He's going to kick back and relax and just hit sixes for fun. Scorchers tomorrow night will be a tough matchup, but I still think he can do it. And then the Gades, he can probably hit Tommy Rogers for a few fours and sixes here and there. Not our mate Fergus O'Neill, though. Ferg will have him.
No,
We'll be all over him.
Ferg
Won't get his
Maidens.
wicket, though, because, Matt Short will go big, I think, both innings.
Yeah, pair of Adelaide Strikers players there. Just you always got to make sure you get on those players who have the double.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll finish it off with the questions and fan comments.
Favorite segment.
Don't have too many this week, but
Where are you on YouTube?
Well,
where are you, lads?
We had a bit, but they were actually all kind of saying the same thing, which I'll get onto. So for Instagram, this is on Sam Konstas on the meme post that we did when he made his 60. From Spencer Jose 21. Bradman came back from the dead to save our top order. As you touched on it, Marcus, I think that's pretty accurate. It's reincarnation.
He's talking about Sam Konstas there, and obviously how good was the young lad? Only 19 years of age as well.
Yeah, the confidence on him was unmatched. Could be arrogance, depending on who you ask, but we'll say confidence. And then Facebook, yesterday, we chucked up a post about Mitch Marsh's form. So he's been averaging less than 20 in his last 15 innings.
Yeah,
not having a good time. Not having a good time in 2024. And everyone in the comments basically said the same thing to get him out of the team. But we've highlighted Michael Kaloxi here. Apologies for the pronunciation. But he said, put McSweeney in for Marsh. So if Marsh is to come out of the team for the Sydney Test, who would you bring in, Marcus?
Well,
would you bring in McSweeney?
I mean, it's fair to bring McSweeney back in because in our eyes, he got unfairly dropped.
Yep.
But the like for like is just Bo Webster, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's virtually the same player.
Especially with Inglis out as well.
Yeah.
I think he picked up a calf strain, I want to say.
Yeah.
I think Bo Webster, and the thing with Bo Webster is he can bowl off spin. So I think on the SCG that could be handy, and it probably actually saves us from needing to pick a specialist spinner, unless they want to if Starks
and if you need him to bowl Meds as well, he's more than capable of bowling Meds as well. But you think on that Sydney pitch, bit of spin in there as well. So I think Bo Webster.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think if they did opt for McSweeney, it isn't really like for like, as you said, because McSweeney's top 4 and Marsh is batting at 6. So
yeah, and you're going to move McSweeney from opening the batting and then batting him at 6.
Yeah,
again, it's a Rohit Sharma situation all over again.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that does it, Marcus. What a huge show. We'll be getting this out ASAP because how good's cricket? What a day. We're pumped up. That's Stumps for the Cricket Today show. Thanks to TABTouch. We will continue to do this show. I think we've got a show on Thursday, and then next week we're back to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday setup, just over this sort of New Year period. We'll get through that, and then back to regular programming next week. So get right around the show. Make sure you subscribe. I think you mentioned 2.61 subscribers on YouTube, so we want to get to 3K.
2,611. I reckon we can get to 3K by the end of the SCG test.
Oh, that's a big call, but hopefully our fans can come through and deliver on that. Send in any questions and comments as well. We'll cover them off in the show with that segment at the end, the fan comments segment as well. So yeah, just anything, even if you're just talking about your day and it's not cricket related, just chuck it in. We're keen. We'll read it. What else are we doing? Just watching cricket. That's it. So thank you, Leo, which is me, and thank you, Marcus, for hopping on. No thanks to Stats Guy, but he's out enjoying himself.
Fair enough.
I'll chuck a thank you to Gerald because he helps me run all this stuff. He set me up with this, so good on him. And thank you to TABTouch. Got the touch? Download TABTouch today. That's another app of Cricket Today done. We're out.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.